Here's my review for Fistful of Frags. This is, in case you don't know what this game is, it is a Wild West themed shooter, first person shooter. It has a couple of different game modes. Most of them never get played anymore, but that's pretty much what it is. There's plenty of gameplay of this online. The game has seriously gone downhill over the years. It is a shell of its former self, and by the way, the community surrounding this game is pretty much like a couple hundred people. That's it. That's in terms of people that regularly play it, it's 100 or something like that. It's just, compared to any other shooter, it's dead. It's completely dead. It originally developed as a mod for Half-Life 2, and it started development, as far as I know, it started being developed in about 2006, but it was released as a standalone game as its own title on Steam on May 9th, 2014. And after it came out, it was actually pretty popular. It had a lot of people playing it, a couple thousand at least, I think it was. But as you can see, I gave it a 2 out of 10 rating. It used to be a lot higher. I used to give this game like 5 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10, but after some experiences that I had with the community surrounding this game, it's down to 2 out of 10. And of course, I did a basic summary here. It's basically what you would expect. It's free to play, by the way. And it's kind of funny how on the Steam page for this game, it's like they brag about that it's free. It's like they say it's free, no microtransactions, none of that. It's just free to play and you can do whatever you want. It's like they're bragging. Well, there isn't exactly much to brag about here. The game is a pile of crap, literally. It's free for a reason. And it stands out because of that Wild West theme, and there's a lot of weapons you can choose from to use. There isn't many, looking online, there isn't very many Wild West first person shooters out there. There's very few. This is probably the most easily accessible one, just because it's free and on Steam. And the game, I will admit, the game, this is why it doesn't have, like a 0 out of 10 rating. It can be fun. It Keyword is can. It can be funny, it can be fun. You can pull off random headshots just because of luck and because of the game's broken mechanics. You can pull off headshots that are funny to watch people die. You can kick people off of a building and it's funny to watch them fall down to their death. Stuff like that. Of course, as I mentioned here, the person who gets the headshot, who falls off the building, it's not funny for them, but for you it is. And I basically made a list here that even though the game, it can sometimes be enjoyable, there is just many, many things that are problems, that are issues that need to be fixed. And I made a list here with those. And I'll go through this list because this needs to be said. It seems like in the reviews for this game that I found online, people just don't, they say, oh, it's kind of fun, go play it. Pretty much. They don't go into in depth, I would say, into the issues the game has. Nobody does that, and I'm going to do that here. Some of the guns and weapons need to be balanced and nerfed. Some people would probably disagree with me on this. It's very subjective, but in case you're familiar with the weapons, well, I'm sure you are. If you aren't familiar, there's a starting amount of weapons. A couple of them you can start with when you do a team shootout match that are just they're preset weapons. You have to use one of those. Well, I guess you couldn't use a weapon, or if you choose not to, you don't have to. But if you don't use a weapon, your chances of getting far in the match are pretty low. And out of the starting weapons, these are the ones that need to be nerfed. The Remington Army, the Mare's Leg, and the bow. And the Remington Army it's a 6-shot pistol that was added. It's one of the newer guns. It might have been added in I want to say 2017. And that, yeah, no, that's not very new, but for this game it is. And the Remington is one of the most commonly used starter weapons in the shootout game modes because it's an easy two-shot kill. It does like, I think it's 53 damage at a close range body shot, and it does 82 damage with a close range headshot. So it's such an easy kill. Two shots, dead. The fire rate is a little bit slow, but it's not slow enough to the point where, it's a nuisance. It's still a relatively fast gun. The reload is just you switch out the cylinder. You got 6 rounds just like that. There's nothing bad about the gun really. It's freaking OP. It gets easy kills so easily with the high damage. And like I say, damage needs to be reduced by a lot or star cost. And by what I mean by star cost, if you're not familiar, is in the starting weapon loadout in the shootout modes, you have up to 11 stars that you can spend to create your loadout. And each gun, each, perk, each thing that you can use costs a certain amount of stars. And you can't go over 11. You can go under 11, but you can't go over. And so basically, this weapon, it costs 5 stars in the loadout. I think it should cost more because it's heavily abused. It is. It is heavily abused. People use it too much. It's really disappointing when a game has so many different weapons you can choose from, but like 90% of the player base uses the same like 3 or 4 weapons. They can choose from, 10, but they use 3 or 4 because those 3 or 4 are OP. The bow is another culprit here. It's even worse. It's ridiculous. I don't know how this is possible, but the bow can one-hit KO players at any range with a headshot. The headshot does like, I think it's like 105 or something, or 115 damage. And if you don't know, the max health a player can have is 100. So it's a one-hit headshot kill. The rate of fire is pretty fast. It got buffed recently. Well, I shouldn't say recently. A couple months ago, many months ago, it got buffed. It used to be pretty slow when you had it in your hand. Like the walking speed when you used that gun used to be really slow. But now you walk really fast. It got like a speed buff. And another thing about the bow is that because it shoots an arrow, the game uses a weird mechanic where if you shoot somebody, the farther the arrow flies, the more damage it does, as if the arrow is picking up velocity in midair. So you can get at mid range, you can get 2 hit kills with 2 body shots. It needs to be nerfed by the star cost increasing, or the damage, at least for the headshot, needs to be decreased. You shouldn't be able to freaking get one-hit headshots with a bow at any range. And like I say, like there's been times I'm sitting, in a sniping spot or halfway across the map from somebody, and somebody shoots an arrow at me, and then I'm dead instantly because it was a headshot from halfway across the freaking map. And that thing is a headshot kill, instant kill with a headshot at any range. And I'm dead. The person was halfway across the map, but they still killed me. And talking about these 3 weapons in general, I don't think I highlighted the mare's leg. The mare's leg just does too much damage in general. It's just the mare's leg. It does 67 body damage, so easy 2-shot body kill, and the headshot damage is like 103 or something like that. It's just instant kill headshot at close range. It's just broken. And there really should not be a starting weapon capable of killing another player with only 2 body shots because it's a starting weapon that doesn't have any major repercussions. But what I mean by that is that if the Remington Army, if it could kill in 2 body shots, with it currently can, if it can do that, then the fire rate should be really slow, the reload should be really slow. There should be some sort of downside to the weapon, but there isn't. All of the starting weapons that can kill in 2 body shots don't have any major downsides. They're OP. And And the bow, in well, I guess for me, I can't really aim it that good. But if you know if you're hacking, if you got aimbot and you practice a lot with the bow, you can aim it just fine. Like I say with the Remington, slow rate of fire, but not slow enough to become a nuisance. And here's sort of an example to kind of give you context. The sawed-off shotgun is a starting weapon, but it can kill in 2 body shots. But the thing with the sawed-off shotgun is that the damage is very, I would say, sporadic and unpredictable. You can be at point blank range and shoot somebody, it'll do 60 damage. You shoot him again, it'll do 80. It's just that the damage is very unpredictable. And like I say here, you have to be at point blank range and you must be dead center on the person you're shooting. And once you kill them with 2 shots, you're out of ammo. So that gun, it can kill in 2 body shots, but it has downsides. The other ones I'm talking about, the Remington, the Mare's Leg, the bow, they don't. And to be honest right here, the bow, it shouldn't even be in the game. Come on people. It's a Wild West shooter. You don't see people in the Wild West freaking using bows during a gunfight. A bow and arrow, like come on. There's also a hatchet in the game and like a machete. Who uses a hatchet and a machete in the Wild West? Why are these even available in a game like this? It makes no sense, but I use the hatchet because it's kind of broken. Not in terms of damage, but in terms of being able to hit people. I would say the accuracy is broken too. A lot of my shots don't register, but I mean, it's funny sneaking up on people with that. This is what I used to do right here. In the shootout game modes, I sometimes used the weakest weapons available. And by that, there used to be Smith & Wesson hammerless and a Derringer, and I would use those weapons because I thought they were kind of funny. I used to use those, but in updates happened, and after the game got updated, that was no longer an option. It got nerfed, things got changed for some reason, and I can no longer do that. Sometimes I go on servers that are not full of players because the bots aren't going to use those OP guns that I mentioned. They aren't going to camp, they aren't going to spam kick, and they aren't going to fan their gun because they panic and they can't aim. And this was actually kind of funny right here. It is humorous how people panic and fan their gun because a hammerless and Derringer wielding foe is in first place. I'm talking about myself right there. I actually got, no joke, I actually got banned from a server for using the hammerless and Derringer and being in first place. I got banned for being in first place with weak guns. It's hard to believe, but I got banned for it. Now, given all these weapon problems, there should be a way to disable weapons in the spawn loadout for servers. Because when you host a server, you should be able, whoever's hosting the server only, should be able to choose what weapons they want people to use. Like if the person, whoever's hosting the server, if they don't like the Mare's Leg, if they think it's OP, if they don't like the Remington, that they should be able to, disable the gun or maybe even, replace it with something else. But that's not, you can't do that. And in servers, this is a major issue right here. There's a lot of movement delay. If you go into spectator mode and you watch people shoot at others, it looks like they are shooting at thin air. No joke. In the spectator mode, you can see like the actual positions of players versus where they are being shot at. And it looks like they're shooting thin air. There's so much freaking delay. You'll go, here's my example, is in your view, you hid behind a wall so you can reload, but because there's a lot of delay, the person that was shooting you, they still saw you in the open, so they shot at you again and you died, even though you hid behind the wall. The movement delay is so long that you were still out in the open, even though you went into cover. Every server on this game has high ping. There's no such thing as low latency. There's it doesn't exist. It's safe to say that there's between half a second to over 2 seconds of movement delay in every server, and it gets really annoying. And like I say, while spectating, you can see the actual positions of players versus where they are being shot at. It's weird how this game, the servers are run like crap, and there's so much delay in high latency and ping. But in other games like, Fortnite, GTA, that doesn't exist. There's like no issues with that in those games, but in this game, it's such an issue. It's really annoying when you hide behind a wall for cover and then you die anyway. Number 8, there are plenty of hackers in this game. I see it somewhat regularly, I would say. People that use, whatever you want to call it, aimbot, uh, aim assist, people that can pull off long range headshots that are impossible to even do, people that have ridiculously high notoriety, godlike aim. And this is an example right here. I once saw somebody in a 15-minute team shootout with 1700 plus notoriety just because they constantly got headshots with the bow. Like, that's not skill, people. That isn't skill. It's hacking. There's people that hack constantly. And it's funny how every server says, well, almost every server says they have Valve anti-cheat technology. That's bull. It's just freaking bull crap. If there is anti-cheat technology, it sure isn't preventing the aimbotters to get in the games. I talked about this gun earlier, the Smith & Wesson hammerless. It used to be a single gun, but now it's dual wield only, and it got nerfed. That's basically what this is. If it gets changed back into a single gun, it needs to get buffed. Volcanic should get buffed, even though people abuse that gun. By the way, well, I should go into detail on that. The people who abuse the volcanic pistol, what they do is I've watched them do it. It's really weird. Is they'll use a knife. They'll run around the map. When they see somebody, they run up to them, stab them, then they probably kick them, and then they switch the volcanic. And then what they do is they shoot them with the volcanic. And the game thinks that you got a kill or an assist with the knife. So what it does is it gives them bonus notoriety because they used the knife. Even though it didn't kill him, it didn't do much damage either. Just because they stabbed the guy, then they shot him with the volcanic, they get a notoriety bonus. It's like an exploit that I see people do with this gun. But anyway, assist kills do exist in this game. But the thing is, with an assist, you have to do 43 damage to somebody to get an assist. And that's a huge problem for those people that use weaker guns. If they use a Derringer, if they use a hammerless, if they use a volcanic, even a hatchet. The people that use those weapons, getting an assist is so hard because it has to be 43 damage exactly until you get the minimum amount of an assist. And the requirement for getting assist should be lower to maybe like 30 damage. So the people that use the weak guns, if you get a kick on somebody with boots, if you kick them and you do 35 damage, you should get rewarded for that. But currently there is no way to get that. The damage is too high. Here's an area of where people argue all the time. The kicking mechanic. It's not overpowered in terms of damage, but in terms of a mechanic itself, being able to kick people, it is completely broken. The damage, 25 damage without boots, 35 equipped. It's not much. It's not enough to get an assist. It's not that big of a deal. damage-wise. It's not an issue. But I think there should be like a second tier of boots added, to do more damage so people have an option. But people abuse the kick. That's for sure. It can become really annoying. A lot of the times you're trying to kick people and the kick doesn't register. It goes like it'll go right through them, or if you kick somebody right before you die, it doesn't do anything. It'll miss them even though it's right your target. You're kicking the guy literally right in front of you, but it'll still miss. Like I say it right here, they can be walking right in front of you and it won't hit them. And there's also an issue with people from being able to kick you from seemingly impossible distances. That'll happen to you. You'll be standing so far away from somebody and they'll still kick you. It's like, how the hell did you even hit me from that distance? Maybe it's because of the movement delay, or maybe it's just because the mechanic itself is so broken. I don't know. But it needs to be fixed. And yes, the dev, he did nerf the kicking in a 2020 update. I'll tell more about that later. Very often, shots do not register on an opponent right before you are killed. This is basically what I mean, is if you shoot somebody and then you die, half a second later. A lot of the times, the shot you hit them with, it doesn't actually register. It won't do damage. You'll see it hit them, but you'll see your gun go off. You'll see the blood, like as if you hit somebody. It makes like a blood spatter on them. You'll see that happen, but no damage. It doesn't register. That needs to be fixed. And as stated, the hit registration, or whatever you want to call it, hit reg, hit detection, it's so bad. Like, you can shoot people point blank with many different guns, and it won't do any damage. It's really discouraging when you shoot somebody and it does nothing. And you think to yourself, what the hell just happened? And then you're dead. And it basically, like I say here, the game, it makes like a sound effect when you hit somebody with a gun. But it'll play that sound effect, you'll see blood on the person, but it won't do damage. It's freaking broken. There's an exploit here in number 15. And what I talk about is the mare's leg. With the mare's leg, it's a sawed-off rifle, lever action. So when you shoot a gun, or when you shoot that gun, there's an empty shell casing in the chamber. So what the character does is he flicks the lever action and he spins the gun and he ejects the empty shell casing. Well, with this exploit right here, which I see regularly a guy named Habitual Offender doing, and he hacks and he wins in first place with that gun. What you can do is, if you fire the mare's leg, you switch to something else, like your fists or something, and then you switch back really quick, it skips the animation to eject the empty shell casing. So basically, you don't have to sit through the animation. It's a faster rate of fire. It's an exploit that should be fixed. There's an option, number 16, when you spawn in a team shootout, where you basically choose whatever hand you want to use your gun in. If you want to be ambidextrous, right-handed, or left-handed. In the left-handed option, it doesn't make any sense. Left-handed gives you the best accuracy. I don't know how. It doesn't look right. It's not factual. It's not realistic. You don't see any people in the Wild West who are left-handed. It's like, I don't know why that's even a thing. It's overpowered. Getting an accuracy boost for a left-handed gun? Using your gun left-handed? What? Now, the game, this is a huge disadvantage again. It receives unpredictable, sporadic updates. There has only been like 5 or 6 since the beginning of 2019, people. And the player base, even though it's small, it gives just so many ideas. People are so, I wouldn't say passionate, but they have a lot of ideas for the game that would improve it. But the developer, in case you didn't know, the developer, this is his name, Rebel Y. It's one guy. There's one guy developing this game. He goes out of his way to not update the game, not do what people say, not do what they suggest, and not fix all of the problems I've been talking about so far. There's more coming too. This ain't the end of the list. He doesn't fix any of it. He doesn't care. I'll talk about that guy more later. The teammates and team shootout, boy, are they useless. You can be in a team shootout match and you get ganged up on by like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies, and your teammates are nowhere to be found. And you die because of it. It's ridiculous how the teammates, there's team based modes, but the teammates suck. Like, there's been times where I'm on the vigilantes, and you look at the leaderboard, I'm the highest up on the leaderboard, I'm carrying my entire freaking team. And I'm not even trying that hard. I'm just playing for like fun. I'm not even trying to win, and I'm carrying my team. My team members are that bad. Like, there should be a way. So, to be, I almost think that there should be like a bonus if you help people, if you stay together as a team in a group and you get kills, that there should be a notoriety bonus for that, a reward, an incentive to be a team player. Or there also should be a way to punish the people that suck, pretty much. And the graphics, obviously, they're aged. And like I said, I think it's been in development since 2006. The graphics, they look like they're from 2006. The user interface and the server menu are they're just seriously dated. I mean, come on, I don't know if it should be redesigned really, but maybe updated a little bit. It's so dated. The movement, when you're walking around in the maps, you can get easily stuck on stuff. Like if you're trying to go upstairs, you can get stuck on the corner of stairs. You can get stuck on railings. It needs some smoothing out. There's a perk called the handgun throw, and it's broken. It used to be you would just throw your gun at the person and do damage. Now, it has a long charge up time before the gun is even thrown, which makes it nearly impossible to hit anybody. And the damage is based on the size of what gun is thrown. So if you throw a Derringer at somebody, the amount of damage it does is pretty much useless. And here's an issue. If you walk into somebody and throw the gun at them, it does nothing. It doesn't hit them. What you'll do is if you throw the gun and you're walking into somebody at point blank range, you can see the gun clip through them. It flies right through the character. It's like they're not even there. Like they're freaking invisible. The gun just clips through them. It does nothing. It's like, well, why would I even try throwing my gun if it's not even going to hit the person at point blank range? It costs 1 star. It should be free, to be honest. If it wasn't bad enough already, though, in June 2020, it got nerfed. If that didn't seem bad enough, it got nerfed more. And now the gun does less damage when thrown while unloaded. And I don't know why he wastes his time with this, but the dev is so picky that he's taking into consideration bullet weight when calculating damages. It's like, there's so many other things you could be fixing instead of worrying about bullet weight. The accuracy for many, many guns is just flat out broken. You can be at point blank range and not hit anybody. It's just like, it's really pissing me off when that happens. Point blank, it's like it doesn't hit him. I don't know how that does. Like that should work. You should be able to hit somebody when you're at point blank range, but in this game, no, no, you don't. You miss. And of course, when you add that with the broken hit detection, well, it gets even worse. And you would think, in a Wild West shooter, of course, as you probably know, this game isn't like, other games. You have to be standing still pretty much, or moving slowly in order to have any good amount of accuracy. And you would say that, well, if you have to really aim, you need skill to get kills. Well, that ain't the case. And I found out from playing this, I have over 500 hours in this game, by the way. 500. Over 500. Well, if you add up, I've been following it since 2014. If you add up all the videos I've watched and stuff, it's probably well over 1,000. If you fan the hammer of a pistol, you would think that it would decrease the accuracy of your gun, but it does the opposite. It increases the likelihood of getting a headshot. It's like, why does that even exist? And if you use an OP gun, you don't need much ability to aim because if you get a hit, the person's dead pretty quick. There's another issue. I stream this game on Twitch pretty often, and I have just countless clips of stuff, bullcrap happening in this game. I'm going to upload them eventually. This is one of the things that will happen to you. You'll walk around a corner, and you'll be dead instantly because somebody, like, no-scoped you with a Smith carbine or a mare's leg, and you're dead. You walk around a corner, you're dead. Just like that. No time to react, you're dead. Because of a overpowered headshot. That was pretty much, it wasn't skill, it was luck. Bad spawns happen often. I've got plenty of clips of that too. You spawn, there's enemies too close by. A couple seconds later, you're dead. Even, the dev apparently in an update earlier this year, he apparently did fix some of that. I could tell there was a little bit better in some areas of the maps, but it's still really bad. And the game is plagued with technical issues. It's built like crap, pretty much. It's built terribly. I had an issue with this. It was after, it started happening randomly. The game would it would open fine, it would run fine, I got good FPS, but then after, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes sometimes, it would just freeze and crash. No warning, no nothing. And I posted this on the Steam forums for the game, and I asked the developer for help. He basically said it was on my end, even though I tried a bunch of things to fix it. He said it was still on my end, and that the game didn't change, obviously, so it's on your end. Go fix it. Well, he suggested a couple things. Some other people did too. It turns out all the things that people suggested to me were wrong. It turns out what was crashing my game was that I had the game stored on a SD card, and then I had to transfer it to my hard drive, and that fixed it. My computer didn't like playing it on an SD card. And as mentioned before, the developer, Rebel Y. Wow, I have never seen such a bad developer. This is what he does. He reports people who write bad reviews for his game. He ignores the community. He ignores suggestions from his fans of the game. He rarely posts anything on the game's Steam forums. He goes out of his way to not update the game, and he vanishes into thin air when people need him. There's no way to contact him either. Well, I found an email, but I don't know if it's even working anymore. And right now, by the way, right now is one of the times where he's vanished. Like, I'll show you this later. There's been no update to the game since August of 2020, and now we're in December. So it's going on 4 months with nothing from this guy. 4 months. He's disappeared. He's currently disappeared. It's like, what kind of freaking developer disappears? There was a website for this game too. I checked it not that long ago, and it seemed like it was back up. But for a while, it just got the website. It went under because nobody kept it up. The dev didn't keep the website up. Not once have I seen the guy ever playing in a server. And if you look online, there's some videos of him playing the game on YouTube, but those are from 2016. Apparently, there's been no sighting of him playing his own game since 2016. And you would think, being the sole developer of this game, that he would say, that it's been out for 6 years as a standalone, that he would say, it's thanks to everybody who keeps playing my game. I'm glad you're keeping it alive. I'm glad people still are having fun. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. He doesn't care. He literally does not care that people play his game. No thank you. No nothing. Now this right here, this is what really made me lower my rating. The player base. You will not believe how bad it is. It's very freaking toxic. I would say it's the most toxic player base in a game I've ever seen. Ever. There's been many times I've been insulted and cussed at over the voice chat. There's voice chat in this game, and the majority of the people that you hear on voice chat, they sound like pedophiles. And I've been insulted and cussed at for doing absolutely nothing. This is what people talk about. Anything from Mexicans to politics to sex. You name it, they talk about it. On this dead Wild West shooter, they talk about that stuff. And you can mute people, but I mean, really, if there's an option to mute people, you really shouldn't have to. It should be, a fun, friendly, welcoming community that is happy to have fun. But it's not. It couldn't be farther from that, really. No joke, right here. If you join a packed server and you listen to the people talk on the voice chat, almost everybody, they sound like and they act like a creep. And it's kind of interesting, I found this out too, how most of the creeps, they're on, late at night, early in the morning between like 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's when all the creeps are on, weirdly. They are self-loathing, sexually obsessed pigs. And this is pretty bad. This shows you how bad it is. You literally can't have a normal conversation with anybody without them bringing up your sexual orientation or your skin color. That's how freaking bad it is. There's no friends to be made here. No friends at all. I could go on all day about the things people have said to me. This one guy named Diet Taco, whatever kind of name that is, he asked for my address and then he threatened to come to my house and kill me. I think because of something I said. I don't even remember what I said, but he threatened to come to my house and kill me. That was very friendly of him. On another occasion, I was getting teamed up by quite a few people for calling them out on their behavior. I basically called them out saying, "You're being a creep. You're being a pedophile. Get off this game. What are you doing? You're making this community toxic." I called them out for that. And what happened is I was told some of the worst stuff I've ever heard in a video game. When I questioned them for being creeps living in Alabama, I also call the people on here Alabama Hicks, because it seems like that's what they are. They all sound like they're from the freaking South. They got Southern accents. They all are obsessed with sex. They're obsessed with sexual orientation. And this is what I was told. I don't even want to say that on it. I don't even want to say those words. You can read them yourself. It sounds so stupid, but that's what they told me to do. That they're also going to kill me in my sleep, and they threatened to come to my house and kill me. They demanded where I lived. They wanted my address. They burped into their mics. They told me to commit suicide. Literally, no joke, people. People on here, if you call them out for their behavior, they'll tell you to kill yourself. That's how bad it is. And the interesting thing about that is that you think there'd be a way to report those people. Threatening to kill somebody, that's a crime. There's been people that have been charged for that. So there should be a way to report those people. There is no way. You can't report them. You can't get any sort of justice. There's no prosecution. There's nothing you can do. Nothing. The developer doesn't care. He doesn't even care about updating his own game. He doesn't care about the community. He doesn't care at all. You can't tell the dev. There's no way to contact him. So the dev's out of the question. There's no report system. There's nothing. That's pathetic. This is not a community you want to be part of, as I said. Avoid it. Even if it means not playing. I've seen reviews of the game. There's people in reviews on Steam, they say they're never going to play again. And that's good. That's good they're never going to play again. You want to avoid this at all costs. And this is kind of bad, too. It's too bad there's this Wild West shooter that has so much potential, but the dev sucks. The dev is a douchebag. The player base is filled with douchebags. It's overflowing with creeps. It's overflowing with sexual pigs. I mean, it's like, what kind of game has that? Well, this is it right here. This is the one that does. Because of that, even if the dev came around, if he fixed the issues that people wanted to fix, even if he did, the community's so bad, I don't think I'd even give it over 4 out of 10. Now, here's an update log. There was just a couple of updates in 2020. I thought I had to comment on them. And here's basically what they were. On May 7th, 2020, the dev added things. Well, he made 2 changes. This is what he did. He added Italian translation, and he fixed a crash bug on Linux. That's it. And so, in over a month, the dev can add Italian translation and fix a crash bug. That's all they can do in over a month. Like, are you kidding me? You might as well not even update the game if that's all you're going to do. How about you fix the broken assist system? Or you nerf the buff? Or what you should do is nerf the weapons that need to be nerfed and buff the ones that need to be buffed. The weapons are so imbalanced. Maybe you should fix the shots that don't register, or fix the broken hit detection, or fix the quick switch exploits. Well, exploits in general, just fix them all. Or fix the broken kicking system, fix the server delay, the movement delay, maybe fix any of that? Nope. He'll add a Italian translation instead. Another worthless update right here in June 2020. The mayor's leg was nerfed, but not nerfed enough, I would say. And I don't know what's with the dev, but he slowed down the crosshair transition time for the weapon because this is what he said. It isn't intended for a quick movement style. He just doesn't say, I nerf this weapon, I buff this one. But he has like some weird twisted reality, he thinks. Because he says certain guns are meant for a certain movement style. Like, what? People like him shouldn't be in game development if he can't even say himself that he buffed a gun or he nerfed a gun. The hammerless was screwed, pretty much. The dual derringer was removed. They added dual derringers back for a little bit, and then they put a single derringer back, and they nerfed it for no good reason. That gun used to be so good. God, just thinking about how good that gun used to be. And now it's comedy. It's a comedy weapon. The Smith carbine returned. It was nerfed, and I think it's still OP to an extent. Another rifle was buffed a little bit, but still not many people use it anymore. Bow run speed a bit slower. I think that got reversed, actually. I think he redid that one and he increased the speed afterwards, but still OP. And the Colt Navy got a tiny, tiny little buff. And the only reason to use that gun is if you're trying to win a match, it's for the notoriety. If you want to get high notoriety, just use that gun. But it still seems wimpy, like, in my opinion, the Navy, it seems like a wimpy, gimmicky gun. There used to be a perk called Pickpocket. It was basically, if you punched somebody from behind, you would get money. You would steal money from them. There used to be a money system in the game where you would have to buy your guns, but they got rid of that. It was in the game for like 2 years, but they got rid of it. I shouldn't even say they. I should say the dev, because it's one guy. It was replaced with Quick Draw, which is pretty much useless. Tracking got nerfed. Stupid change. Boots got nerfed. Like, I thought maybe after he nerfed the cost of the boots, maybe he buffed them in some way. But nope. Nerfing the boots, it completely screwed up all my loadouts, and that really pissed me off. And like I mentioned earlier, throwing the handguns, it does less damage when they're unloaded now. It's useless. He made it useless. Let's see what else. Loot box system added. That's kind of broken, I would say, because a lot of times when you try to open one of those boxes, you die. This change right here, cannot drink whiskey while reloading. That pissed a lot of people off, including me. It's like, why? Why can't you do that? I remember after he did this change, before I looked at the change log, the update log, I thought that was a bug. I tried drinking whiskey when I was reloading. It wouldn't work. I thought it was a bug, but no! That's how he wanted the game to be. God, I saw a lot of people. There was a lot of people on the Steam forums for the game. They got pissed off by that, and that was good. It pissed me off too, but I got used to it, I guess. Waste of time, stupid change, but you gotta get used to it. He does what he wants. Every weapon chest has been revamped. A lot of them stupidly. Like I said, there was a money system where you could buy weapons. That was taken out for no reason. There used to be servers used to have a max amount of people in them, as you could have up to 32 people in a server. But the dev didn't like that, so he changed it down to 24. So he killed, like, what is that, a fourth of all the servers? He killed off a fourth of the max players. Like, I guess he did it to help fix the bad spawning, maybe, but I don't know. It's just stupid change. Oh, and then the course mode, there was apparently a bug in the course mode. I like that bug, but I didn't even think it was a bug, but nobody plays that game anyway, or that game mode anyway, pretty much. And random accuracy changes for no apparent reason. Here's the update notes. Yeah, look at that. It hasn't been updated. The game hasn't been updated since August 9th. And it's interesting, I should mention this too. This map right here. He added, well, I guess it wasn't him, but he approved it. He added it to the game. Somebody else made it, I think. FOF Tortuga. That's the most recently added map to the game. And God, does that map suck. I've never I will never play like a game around on that map. It's so bad. That map is so freaking bad. When it first got added, it was way too big for the amount of people that were on it. It was hard to find people. You could get lost. Literally, you could get lost. Way too big. So what he did was he shrunk it down a little bit. There was a spot on the map where you could snipe. He nerfed it. And like he says right here, new door added to help flank the sniper nest, I mean. Oh, less whiskey. Yay! Harder to heal. That's another problem the game has in general is that you try healing, there's no whiskey. Everybody else drank the whiskey. So he makes an issue worse by getting rid of whiskey. And then he nerfs the sniper spot again. So that map is terrible. It's one of the worst maps I've ever seen in the game. It's too big. There's too many hallways. There's like it doesn't flow very well. And when there's a sniper spot, well, he nerfed the hell out of it. So why even try to snipe? Yeah, this guy, what a freaking douchebag. Rebel Y. Oh, and he has a private profile. But yeah, it's screwed. Now this right here, I made a table. It basically, this right here is all of the weapons in the game and how the damage has changed over time. So for example, right here, the Derringer, it used to do 54 body damage, 84 headshot damage. It was nerfed to 45 body damage, 59 headshot damage. This is basically, left to right is how the guns have been nerfed. Look at this. So let me go down the list. Nerf, big nerf, pretty big nerf. This one actually got tiny buff, big nerf, tiny buff, nothing, pretty much nothing. Not sure about the shotgun, the Remington Army, like, I think I got that screwed up here in the numbers. I have to fix that. The Mare's Leg it's gotten nerfed over the time, but it still needs more. The Yellow Boy rifle, it's a shell of its former self. Dynamite, Dynamite used to be really good, but he nerfed the damage radius, he nerfed the damage. It's a comedy weapon. You use it for fun, that's what I do. The kick got nerfed. Brass knuckles, nerfed. Boots, nerfed. Knives, nerfed. The Smith carbine, nerfed, but I think it can get even nerfed more. Spencer carbine actually got a little buff. Peacemaker, nothing different there. Colt Walker, nothing different. Schofield, big nerf. Pump shotgun, big nerf. Coach gun, nerf. Just nerf. And I put some, you can go look, I'll link my website. You can read these reviews. The game, I looked at the reviews on Steam. There's some really good reviews for this game. They really say it. They say it how it is. Like, some of these reviews, man, they sure sum it up. And then I put my opinion on the starting guns. I'm not going to go into detail on those. A lot of them are broken. They're a waste of time. But if you want to look at that, I'll link it. And I put some videos here of how the Hammerless used to be a good gun, but it got nerfed to oblivion. Now it's crap. I put a video here to show how the Mare's Leg is OP. And some other stuff. But yeah, there you go. Review for Fistful of Frags. I would say the most toxic game ever. In terms of community, the most toxic game ever.